I know there's a shadow on this, but can you see all the vegetables, all the meat and the vegetables, how thick it is? Hi y'all, it's Kimberly here. Thanks for coming to my channel. Well, today I'm going to make a meat sauce for pasta, and then in a couple of days I'll probably add some more stuff to it to make it a thicker meat sauce for lasagna. So let me go ahead and show y'all all my ingredients. Okay, I've got a bell pepper, about 3/4 left over from I ate a salad and I ate part of it, and about 3/4 of a white onion, 2 Roma tomatoes, which I like my meat sauce to be real chunky with a lot of vegetables in it. So I'm going to use these two, I don't want them to get soft. I need to use them up. And then I have 4 cans of tomato sauce, which I may use more, I'm not real sure. And then I do have a can of diced tomatoes in tomato sauce. And then a can of Italian style petite diced tomatoes in garlic, with garlic and oregano. And then I'm going to add some spices. I've got my regular salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, and some oregano. And I do have a little bit of thyme and some parsley flakes and Italian seasoning. And I know some people probably aren't going to like this, but I do put cinnamon in my meat sauce, just a little bit. And it's kind of an ingredient that some people say it's not like a real Italian type of seasoning to use for meat sauce, but I actually like the way it brings out a little bit of flavor to it. So I use just a little bit, and then I'm going to use the hamburger meat that I had left over. I have part of it in the freezer, but I need to use this up today. So let me go ahead and get these things prepped, and I'll get back to you. Okay, y'all, my pan is getting really hot right now, so I'm going to add this meat into it. Chop it up a little bit. I did have a large skillet that I was going to use, but it's going to be a big, quite a bit of sauce, and I'm going to have to let it simmer. And I don't know, I just changed my mind from the skillet that I had. It's a fairly decent thick skillet, but I chose a saucepan over that after I didn't want it to splatter as much. So I'm going to go ahead and cook it in here. Let the meat brown, and got the heat on like not quite medium high, just a hair below medium high to brown the meat. I'll probably turn it down later on when I'm letting it simmer. But I have the meat in here cooking. I'm going to go ahead and add the onions to it so the onions can soften up a little bit. And I hope my neighbors have been arguing for about 2 hours in the front yard. So that's why I kind of postponed making the video for a while, hoping that they would quiet down, but they're going at it quite a while. So I think they've kind of calmed down a little bit. I think they're not yelling and screaming like they were before. I can kind of still hear them talking, but that happens quite frequently. I really don't want to complain about it because I just don't want to be the Karen on the block, you know. And usually I have the TV on or something. I can't really hear them all that much. But every once in a while, they'll get going late at night. Okay, just let this kind of cook down. I'm just gonna let the meat, I've got it all chopped up, and I put the onions in the center just to make a little well, and we're gonna kind of soften up that just right there in the middle. And let them cook a little bit. And I'm going to have to drain a lot of the grease out of this because it is the meat is the 70-20 or something. I can't remember what it was actually. So it's got a little bit of high fat content. And the hamburger meat I was talking about the other video I made, I don't save the oil from the hamburger meat. I only save bacon grease. Some people, they save all different kinds of meat and not meat, oil, and the grease from different kinds of meat. And I just only save the bacon. I don't know. It's just my preference. Okay, this is cooking down a little bit. And this is a sauce that I'm going to make like a spaghetti sauce or pasta sauce. I'm going to make the first batch as a pasta sauce. And it's late at night. I'm going to let it cool down and then use it tomorrow. And then I'll probably make 1 or 2 servings, or eat a couple of servings of pasta with it, because I have some garlic bread in the fridge. Some really nice thick garlic bread. And I will probably, maybe in a day or two, a couple days, add a little bit more meat to it, or make it a thicker sauce for lasagna, because I've already bought the noodles and I've got all the cheese. So, and I love homemade lasagna. Oh, it's one of my favorite dishes. Okay, letting this kind of cook down a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and add like a little bit of salt to it right now. And that. You know, I was in the store when I was buying the stuff for the lasagna, and the pepper, like this is from the dollar store from like, I've had it for a couple of years, maybe about a year and a half. A year to a year and a half, I'd say. And when I was looking at the pepper it was at Walmart, it was like $5 or $6 for like the little metal can, just for the little metal can of pepper. I'm astounded every time I go to the grocery store now. It's like things just getting more and more expensive. Okay, the onions are cooking down and the meat is cooking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and just flip this meat over. I don't want it to burn. I do have it pretty high. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to just continue chopping up a little bit. I like my hamburger meat in most of my recipes to be a little bit chunky because I like a good bite of meat. So I'm not, I just don't like it. To me, when you get the hamburger meat so chopped up, so finely grounded up, chopped up. It's like you really can't get a good, good chunk of meat, So I like to keep my meat, the hamburger meat, when I'm cooking it, kind of in larger chunks. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add the bell pepper to this so it gets softened up a little bit too. And this is cooking down pretty good. I'm going to turn it down a little bit because the hamburger meat is pretty much cooked. And continue to let it cook. And here I'm going to show you, I'm going to give y'all a shot of cooking down. So I've got the meat cooked down, the onions, and I just put the bell peppers in. Then I'm going to be adding the sauces in. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and drain out some of this grease. I'm going to ladle it out with my ladle. I'm going to put it into another little bowl. And then I'll be putting the sauce in. Okay, y'all, so I've drained out probably about a quarter of a cup to a third a cup of grease. It had quite a bit in it. And I did leave, you don't want it completely dry, but you do want to get, the majority of the grease out. Because you don't want your sauce to be super oily. And, okay, so with all the oil being drained out, it needs some liquid so it doesn't dry up. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the cans of sauce. This was the diced tomatoes and tomato juice. It's actually tomato juice, not tomato sauce, but it's... I'm going to give it some liquid, and it's got some big chunks of tomato in it. And this is petite diced tomatoes with basil, garlic, and oregano. And it's got like really fine chunks of tomatoes. And mix that up. And I did turn it down a little bit. Turn it right back up. Okay, now I'm going to add the tomato sauce. One, two, three, and 4 cans of tomato sauce here. That one still has up a little bit. Alright, use up all that. So now I have a pretty good sauce. It's got enough tomato sauce in it. Because I like really hearty, thick sauce when I'm eating pasta. I mean, there is really good pasta sauce that doesn't have any vegetables and no meat in that I do like. But the majority of the time when I'm making pasta sauce, I like it to be thick, chunky, hearty, And like my vegetables, I didn't put in like large chunks. I tried to not really finely dice, but just a small dice. And just gonna have to let this kind of simmer for a little bit. Then I'm gonna add my 2 Roma tomatoes. And actually, with all the 2 cans of the diced tomatoes and the petite diced tomatoes, that would be enough. If you don't have tomatoes, then it's perfectly fine. But I'm a tomato freak. I love tomatoes. And I needed to use those up before they got mealy. When your tomatoes, if they start to get a little soft or something, you need to use them. So adding that, and just gonna let this simmer for a little bit. I'm gonna turn up the heat a little bit. I turned it down when I was draining the grease, but now that I've put all this liquid in here, I mean, it's a big pot now. Let me show y'all. So, and this is the sauce pot that I'm using. It's a really pretty good sized sauce pot. You can see all the vegetables. It's a really thick, nice sauce. Okay, y'all back on here. Oops. Okay, y'all, I've been letting it simmer for about 10 minutes. And turn it down a little bit. It's getting a little bubbly. You don't want to boil it. You just want to make sure that it's all the vegetables are soft and the meat is all cooked. You got all the sauce mixed all together. And then I'm going to start putting in my spices. And I'm going to put a little bit of salt and some garlic powder. And use up this onion powder. Eventually, maybe by the end of the year, I'll have it used up. And then a little bit of pepper. I'm not going to put as much pepper in them as I usually do for a lot of my ingredients, because, or recipes, because I don't want it to be like spicy. This is more, I just want more of the Italian type of flavor to come through. Okay, now I'm going to add the oregano. I'm not like a real huge oregano fan, but it does give it a good Italian flavor. I mean, you really can't make sauce without oregano. So I don't put quite as much oregano in my sauce, I think, as some people do, but I do add it. And here's a little bit of thyme. I'm not going to use too much of this. I'm just going to use like a little sprinkle of it. And then the parsley, pretty good sprinkle of that. And then here's Italian seasoning. I have just a little bit left. It already has a lot of this stuff in it. I'm not going to use too much of that. But right now, I'm going to pretty much turn it to low heat, just so I can mix in the spices. Because you really don't need to cook the spices. You can actually just add your spices at the end of whatever you're making, pretty much. Most of them will retain the same, you know, if you're just adding at the end, because you literally don't want to cook the spices. It's something that the spices will meld together, especially since I'm gonna refrigerate this, and the next day it will, like a lot of things, the composition of it, the flavors come through after it's been refrigerated, after it's set 10, 12, 24 hours. So this is really thick, really good. I'm gonna give it a taste. I burnt the roof of my mouth the other day eating something that was too hot. Oh, actually, I forgot to put the cinnamon in it. I forgot about that. I'm just going to put a dash of it in there. It's not really coming out. Ooh, that's enough. More than enough. Okay, I'm just going to put like a real light dash of it in there. It actually, cinnamon kind of, if you put too much garlic or oregano or something too strong. It kind of has like a little bit of a sweet taste to it. But you don't want to put too much in it because it will ruin the flavor. Okay. Actually, I feel like I needed to put maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more oregano because I really am not a huge fan, but it needs a little bit more flavor to it. I might put a little bit more salt, just a little dash. Okay, that's good for that. And I'm going to try to get a little bit more garlic in there. Okay. And that's what you should always do before you serve something. If you're putting spices in it, taste it. Make sure you taste it. Okay. Rinse my spoon. Even though I'm cooking for myself, I'm still going to rinse my spoon because you never know if you're going to end up giving it to somebody else. And, you know, people don't want to eat your backwash, I guess. So I try to use a clean spoon every time, or rinse spoon. That's good. Okay. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. And I have a huge pan of sauce. Make me some pasta tomorrow. Have me a meal. And thank you all. And thanks for coming to my channel. And I'll see y'all again.